in the midst of life and existence, in the midst of nature, all phenomena, they exhibit these three universal characteristics. That's why it's called a universal characteristic. So whether it's physical phenomena, mental phenomena, or nature's phenomena, they have these three universal characteristics. The first characteristic is very obvious. Characteristics of impermanent or anicca. So, like the Buddha say, everything in nature, there are causes and conditions behind for their arising, which means it's not a permanent, unchanging entity. All this arising is condition arising, dependent originating. Means without condition, nothing happens. When condition arise, things arise. So this is the basis of the first universal characteristic. And the Buddha explained this very clearly in his teaching. If you cannot understand dependent origination, you cannot understand his teaching. Means you cannot understand life. Yeah. The reason being, the Buddha says, we live in a world which is called the conditioned world. Conditioned world means everything follows this universal law of change. When condition manifests, it arises. When condition cease, it ceases. When condition continue to sustain itself and change, the phenomena will also change in accordance with the condition. So this universal characteristic, the Buddha said, you have to see it in the meditation. You have to develop the clear understanding of it. So the first thing in meditation is to train your mind, to have the ability to be sensitive to all these phenomena. Means you need to train your mind to have mindfulness, to be mindful of all phenomena that arise. That's why you have to be mindful of your physical phenomena, mindful of your mental phenomena, then mindful of nature's phenomena. Do you know what is a phenomenon? You know that by now. So what is a phenomenon by definition? Anything perceivable by the mind is a phenomenon. So this is a very powerful definition. Whatever you can perceive is a phenomenon. So you can perceive through your seeing consciousness when you see something. You can perceive through your hearing consciousness when you hear something. You can perceive through your smell, taste, tactile or thought consciousness. So this is what perception is all about. And perception is phenomena. So the moment you perceive, sometimes there is no movement yet, no activity yet. Yeah. But the very perception itself is a phenomena. Yeah. And how come the Buddha says it's impermanent? When you silence your mind, after you have trained your mind to be in the silent mode, means silent mind, which is your true mind, the meditative mind. And this mind is very sensitive. It's just mindful, aware, without thought. That's why it can perceive many things. Take for example of physical body. Even when you are in the formal meditation, meditating, if you are mindful, you are sensitive, you will come to feel many things. Not only your heartbeat, all the vibration within, the powers of life. And they arise, disappear. Arise, disappear. So the rise and fall of phenomena, the coming and the going of phenomena. Then you realize your feeling. Every moment of contact, feeling also arise and pass away. Perception also arise and pass away. Then your mental activity, your thinking, they also arise and pass away. then every moment of consciousness, they arise and pass away. Then you start to see all this. They are all dependent originating. And what are the conditions behind? When you see it in the meditation, when you come out of it, you reflect, you contemplate, you will understand it deeper, clearer. So, impermanent is a universal characteristic. That's why you realize everything is in a state of flux. Even our physical body. Then if you know science, if you know a little bit about the physical and biological law of nature, then you will come to understand our physical body is in a state of flux. The cells, they keep on decaying. New cells are being born. Then this cell decay. Then after that, they die. Then if you look at the physical body alone, everything is in a state of flux, changing, ever changing. We are never the same every moment. Our heartbeat, our pulse, our vibration, they are all in a state of flux, changing, moving. Our mind states too, mental consciousness, the content. Then there is this awareness that can be aware of all this. Then if you look out beyond your physical and mental, you can see nature. Then nature has its phenomena. You can perceive nature. You can perceive the movement of nature. You can perceive the vibration of nature. Yeah. Vibration of nature a lot, especially in the retreat. The flowing stream, even in this house, you can hear the flowing, the water, the vibration. Then sometimes insect vibration. Then the vibration within nature. Sometimes the breeze, the wind. Then if you are sensitive, you can feel, you can perceive, it's going to rain. And the wind, the howling and all those things. So all these are your ability, if you are mindful, to perceive and to be aware of what is going on. Then you realize that universal characteristic is everywhere, in the midst of life and nature. Then the Buddha say, the moment you understand these universal characteristics of change or impermanence, you will understand the second universal characteristics of nature, which is suffering. He said, everything is dependent originating. That's why he taught us that special law, paticca samuppada. Paticca samuppada is the law of dependent origination, 12 link. It explains clearly to cultivator, the living being, how we function as a human being, following this law. So the first link is dependent on ignorance, it conditions sankhara. It's like avijja paccaya sankhara is very powerful. And sankhara is mental activity, mental thinking, mental states, mental intention, mental volition. So all this is sankhara. So without ignorance, without avijja, sankhara will not arise. Sankhara cannot be active. Then dependent on sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnanam. Because sankhara is mental activity, mental thinking. The moment you think, you make contact with the brain. Then brain is an organ that trigger off mental consciousness. That's why the third link is vijnana, mental consciousness. Then when you input the content, it will condition namarupam, the five aggregate of form and mind, means the thought. Before the content of consciousness go in, you input them through your views, opinion, and your conditioning, the brain. This one input the content and decide what type of consciousness it is, whether it's wholesome or unwholesome, with delusion or without delusion, with greed, with ill will or the evil root of anger, hatred, envy, jealousy. So all this content will go in. That's why Sankara got 52. And some are wholesome, some are unwholesome. So all this is what dependent origination is all about. The Buddha said, Avijja pajja sankara, sankara pajja vijnanam, vijnanam pajja namarupam. That namarupam is our five aggregate of form and mind, the second aspect, the mental aspect. And that one is not easy to understand unless you meditate, unless you can silence your mind and you can be at the moment of feeling, at the moment of perception, at the moment of input of content of consciousness. That's why you must have them all. So this law will work by itself. It's just like nature's law, automatic, like the physics experiment. Yeah? The light bulb, the battery, and the switch. If everything is in functional order, the moment you on the switch, the light bulb lights up. The lighting up of the light bulb is synonymous to the conscious moment of the sense door activity. Like when you have contact of mind with our eye, then the sense data, color, shape, come in. So this one, sense data, sense organ together with the mind, the three come into contact, like the physics experiment, the light bulb lights up. The lighting up is you become conscious of what you see. But initially in the seeing, the Buddha said there is only the seeing consciousness, no one to see as yet. That's why it's the pure consciousness. And that one is vijnana. Then the moment you associate with the seeing, means due to your views, opinion and conditioning, the egoic mind come out. Then input the content of consciousness. That's why your mind stir and react. So, vijnanam pacaya namarupam. And this namarupam is the pure consciousness which is content. We call it the thought, the five mental aggregate of form and mind. Then, when this one arises, the Buddha said, dependent on this mental consciousness, there must be sense basis. Otherwise, they cannot arise. Correct or not? The three conditions coming together, and it triggers. So, because there is sense basis, the Buddha continue. He said, Namarupang Pacaya Salayatana, which is sense basis. Then, dependent on sense basis, it arises contact. That's why Salayatana Pacaya Pasat, which is contact. Then, contact, condition, feeling. Pasat Pacaya Vijnanam. Vedana. Then Vedana Pacaya Tanha, dependent on feeling, it condition, craving. Without wisdom, Yoniso Manasikara, if you have not meditated and you have not developed the wisdom at the moment of sense experience, the initial wisdom, born of the first and second turning wisdom, you cannot cope with sense experience. Immediately at the moment of seeing, feeling will condition craving. You cannot cut, you cannot stop because you don't have the wisdom. That's why wisdom at the moment of sense experience is very important. Then after that arises the whole mass of suffering, the Buddha said. Because dependent on craving, which is tanha, it will condition grasping, upadana. Then grasping will condition becoming, bhava. Then bhava, becoming, will condition birth, jati. That's why the whole mass of suffering arises. So sometimes this dependent on origination. If another sense door, the sense stimulant is stronger, then it will stop. It will not complete the full cycle. Then the next consciousness arises. Then again it moves. That's why without mindfulness you cannot cope. Here we have the sixth sense door. They are actively engaged in life. So in life, you don't have the continuous mindfulness or the daily mindfulness which is very stable. You cannot see all this. You cannot cope with all this. That's why you cannot understand. But for those who meditate, they will see all this. Then when you understand that everything follows a nature's law, you will develop the wisdom. If everything follows nature's law, then I must develop the understanding of it. Then you make use of this understanding to reverse my wrong view, my ignorance. Means I must straighten my view. Otherwise I get into trouble. So the Buddha says, if you want things your way, which is not nature's way, then you will suffer. That's how the second universal characteristic comes about. Dukkha, suffering. Because there is change, it will lead to suffering. That is what the Buddha came to realize. And suffering is a universal characteristic. Because everything that arises is subject to this nature's law, like this body. The moment it's born, it will have to experience what? Old age, sickness, and death. And this is the decay process. It will happen. That's why because of that universal characteristics of impermanence, it will lead to the universal characteristics of suffering. That everything follows nature's law. If you want things your way, which is not nature's way, then you will suffer. That's why without the Dhamma, without the wisdom, the understanding, if you continuously want things your way, which is craving, you will suffer. That's how this universal characteristic comes about. Because you constantly want things your way, which is not nature's way. Then through your self-delusion, sakkayaditthi, you also create the wrong thought through your wrong view that condition your craving. That's the reason why the Buddha in his second noble truth explained very clearly. He said there is a noble truth of cause of arising of suffering. Because in the first noble truth he proclaimed the universal law of dukkha. Means this dukkha or suffering is a universal, not really universal, it's a characteristic within nature. That's why he called it the reality of life and existence. So dukkha is everywhere when you don't have the wisdom and the understanding. When you cannot understand the nature's law that governs life and existence, when you cannot understand his teaching, which explain clearly that all phenomena within the conditioned world has these three universal characteristics. Impermanent, leading to suffering. So this impermanent leading to suffering is very important. So the Buddha extend the explanation to the second noble truth. He said, whatever suffering that living beings experience when they don't have the Dhamma, there is a cause behind. And the cause is always craving, attachment, grasping, clinging. Born of what? Self-delusion. Here you think the body belongs to you. You think this is self, this is me, this is permanent. Then what happens when you have this wrong view? Yeah? You will worry about this body getting old, getting sick, and die. That's how suffering arises. And in the same way, when condition is different, things will change. Like separation from loved one. During crisis time, it can be economic crisis or nature's disaster. Then something happens. You make the wrong decision. Your investment get wiped off. Or separation happen due to death. Or when your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend decide not to continue with the relationship, means the condition for this relationship no longer exists. What happened? There is forced separation, relationship breakdown. That's why it leads to suffering, misery, sadness, unhappiness. Then sometimes it can be so traumatic, especially death of a loved one. So all this, when it happens, if you have this scarcity or self-delusion, you attach, you cling, and you want things your way, which is not nature's way, suffering will arise. That's the reason why he said the universal characteristics of Dukkha is there. Whenever you have ignorance, self-delusion, it will lead to craving, wanting things your way, which is not nature's way. You cannot see things as they are. You cannot accept the reality of the moment. Even health problem, financial problem, relationship problem, career problem, or whatever life problem is the same. That's why this teaching is very powerful. If you see it clearly, you will have the understanding to straighten your view and to awaken. Then you are not being deluded by it. Then you can actually transcend all this delusion. Then the phenomenal world will cease to have power over you. But this is a universal characteristic, like the Buddha said. Not only I have to confront old age, sickness and death, separation, the eight condition of the first reality. Each and every living being who live long enough also have to confront. But it's a universal reality. Then you ask yourself, if that is the case, when it's time for me to confront, means there is condition. So the first Noble Eightfold Path factor, the Buddha said, is right view. Right view with regards to the law of karma. You reap what you sow. Do good because good, do evil because evil. You plant the seed of evil, you reap the fruit of evil. You plant the seed of wholesomeness, you reap the fruit of wholesomeness. Then the Buddha also said, we are all born of our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma. And we are what we are because of our karma. So when you understand this law, your understanding becomes different. You will come to understand why the Buddha said, whatever that arises, there are causes and conditions behind. So let's say this life, people cheat you, deceive you, or take advantage of you, or decide to use you, or discontinue with the relationship and cause you a lot of suffering. So if you don't have this right view with regards to this nature's law of karma, then you will become afflicted. You become very, very sad, miserable. Then you start to hate that person, get angry with that person. Then you start to develop all the negativity of thought because you don't have right view. If you have right view, you can accept the reality. Whatever happened are due to causes and conditions from the past. Very likely is karma. In the past, I must have cheated people, deceived people, killed, harm, and do all this funny thing to people. So now, condition has arisen for me to reap the effect. Means I become the victim. This is nature's law. If I want things my way, I refuse to accept this reality, I will suffer. This is how you free. Then it's just like separation from loved one. There is a reality. Die already, separate already. If you cannot accept that and keep on projecting your thought, become afflicted by it, you will suffer. That's how this universal characteristic torment living being. So this understanding is very important, right view with regards to this law, especially the law of karma and the law of mind. So when you understand, you can be at peace. You will not project your thought. You will not stir your mind. You will not become unhappy over whatever happened. You just accept because you understand. There are causes and conditions behind. So if I accept, I'm at peace. I have clarity of mind. I will not suffer. I will not be tormented. Then I ask myself, if that is the case, what must I do? How can I act so that I can move on and develop the ability to go beyond this reality, this noble truth reality, means the first and second noble truth of dukkha and the cause of arising of dukkha. So when you have this understanding, you become different. Then you will act according to wisdom. You will not act according to memory, which is based on your views, your opinion, your conditioning, your phobia, your scars of memory, your insecurity. All this is not acting at all. Because this is based on ignorance, self-delusion, evil roots. So the real action has to be through understanding, wisdom. So if I act with right view, with the right understanding, then I can be at peace. Then I will not react, I will not stir my mind, I will not do all these foolish things. Then I accept the reality. They already passed. Finish. Then how can I move on? Or whatever I have done, I cannot reverse it. So now it's payback time. I accept it. When I accept, I'm at peace. After I'm at peace, I tell myself, I must do what I have to do. So if it's the case of karmic, you can ask for forgiveness. Ask for what they call repentance. So if you do that forgiveness or repentance sincerely, then you will be able to break the karmic obstruction. Just like the Bodhisattva vow, the aspiration I have taught you all. So after you ask for forgiveness, then you vow not to repeat all this again. Then from now onward, you vow to follow the advice of the Buddha, to cultivate wholesomeness, avoid all evil by keeping your precept. Then develop wisdom to free your mind. Means you are from now onward generating merits, blessing, good parami. So all this is going to give you the good condition for good life. That's how you become different. Your life will turn around. Then after that, you can invoke power of merits. By the power of whatever merits that you have cultivated or developed, may arise the causes and conditions for me to have the good life. You can aspire for whatever condition you want, or for your loved one to recover from certain condition. You can. So all this is Dhamma way of acting. Then coming to the third universal characteristic, it's even more clear. The Buddha said, the moment you understand impermanence, you will understand Anatta. Well, Anatta, basically, the meaning is, it's not a permanent, unchanging entity that you can cling on to, hold on to, and grasp onto and say, this is me, this is I. Therefore, all this can be mine. Because they are dependent, originating, condition arising. That's why it's impermanent. Things that are impermanent is not a permanent, unchanging entity that I can hold on to, cling on to, and grasp onto. That's why it's non-self. Understand or not? So the first aspect of Anatta is non-self. But the second aspect is more powerful. The second aspect is, they call empty nature of existence. Why is it empty nature of existence? That's why under ultimate truth, you will come to know the five aggregate of form and mind is empty, not what you think. Because they are impermanent. This five aggregate of form and mind is dependent, originating, not you, not a permanent, unchanging entity. So how can it be something real that you can cling on to and hold on to and say, this is me, this is I? That's why no mark of a being, empty. No one inside there. Because of that non-self, you will understand the form and mind is only a vehicle and a tool karmically conditioned out for you to come to this existential world, to live life, to do whatever you want. Maybe to cultivate, to fulfill your vow. And for most people, is to pay back your karma. And this one is not real. But through ignorance, self-delusion, you cling, you grab. That's why karma, the law of karma, has power over you. Can make you miserable, can make you suffer. But the moment you understand, you penetrate the characteristics of anatta, then you realize everything is empty, no reality. It's just mighty nature rolling by. Condition arise and pass away, arise and pass away. Form and mind arise and pass away. No reality. Then you look into life. What is life? Every life, the form and mind arise and flow with condition, accord with condition. When condition ceases to be, it ceases to be. Finished. Especially after your breath stops. Your identity erased. Then you look back. For so many lives, billions and billions of birth and death over the eons and eons of existence, you have been born so many times as so many different types of living beings. Which one is you? None of them are you. Is there any reality? That's why the Mahayana saying is very good. When you are born into this world, you come empty. That's why they say, 来也空. Then when you leave this world, you also leave empty-handed. You cannot take along anything. 气也空. Then why do you grieve over emptiness in between? 那么施主啊，何必苦苦为空流泪呢? Because between the coming and the going, there is no reality. Both of the coming and the going is empty. Then why do you grieve in between and become so miserable, so unhappy, full of sorrow and lamentation? Over what? Over emptiness. That's why that saying is very good. Then there is also the Mandarin song, 往事只能回味. So all this will remind us, whatever that you hold on to as real, they are only memory. 往事只能回味. So whatever you cling on and hold on to your memory is not a reality. It's just a thought telling you. So if you can look at it deeply, clearly, then you will start to understand. That's why I used to share with you this understanding. I always look at life. I can never deny I was born through my mother's womb. Then I grew up. Then I evolved and become what I am today. And I cannot deny over the last 65 years, all these moments of life exist. But are they real? Are they real? The past is already gone in it. So how real can it be? You can never bring back the past. Because of that, you will come to understand there is no reality. I can only recall those moments, understand? That's why 往事只能回味. Then after your breath stop or my breath stop, our identity erased. We don't exist. But your identity can remain in the memory of those who know you. True or not? Like your Kayamita. or those who know you. But how long can they live? Maybe another 100 years. They also no more. Okay? Who know who are you? What are you? Nobody know. Except nature record. That's the meaning of anatta. Empty nature or existence, no reality. Then when I look at life, I realize the whole of life can be defined actually. To me, life is existence. True or not? To live life is to exist. Exist through what? Through time. So life is related to time. And time, we can define the whole spectrum. Past, present, and future. What is past? Past is already gone, not a reality. Future, yet to come, also not a reality. So I can conclude, life is within the moment. That is the highest in life. That's why the present moment awareness is the highest in life. But how stable is the present moment? Split second is dead and gone. Moment to moment life passes by. What are you doing? Are you living life? Or are you busy thinking, planning and worrying about life? So much so you never live. That is the deep meaning of anatta. Empty nature or existence. No reality. Not what you think. It's only form and mind, dependent, originating, condition, arising, causal phenomenon. That's why the whole phenomenal world is just a phenomenal world of consciousness, not what you think. And how real is consciousness? Just energy and images. So if you can see all this in your meditation, then when you reflect and contemplate and you have this deep understanding, then you will awaken. You will not be deluded anymore. And the moment you awaken, your mind becomes so different. You no longer do all those selfish things and deluded things like before, where you know there is this nature's law of karma that governs life and existence. You only take care of karma. Means you will do your right duty. You know this form and mind not you, but it has a duty towards this nature's law. That's why you will know how to act, you will know how to live life. You will know how to develop all this understanding to help you to understand life. That is what the Buddha Dharma is all about. That's why the teaching is so beautiful, it's so complete. It explains to us all of the mundane and supramundane aspect of life. Of the Four Noble Truths, the first two Noble Truths talks about the mundane aspect of life, means the mundane life, or they call it the materialistic aspect of life. Then the third Noble Truth, that is the supramundane. The Buddha said, there is a third Noble Truth that explains clearly to you, suffering need not be. Enlightenment in the here and the now is possible. Nibbana can be realized before the form and mind disperse or die. And this is the supramundane aspect. Then there is the fourth Noble Truth. After you cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path, it will bring about the end of all suffering. This is the noble life, where you have this ability to become enlightened. You will reap the fruit of your hard work. You will be able to live that type of life which is very different. No more suffering, no more misery, no more delusion, no more ignorance. You live the life of an enlightened being. That is most perfect and most beautiful. Your mind states are always beautiful, peaceful, tranquil, still, and you come for the living being. Your nature is different from normal living being. You have love, you have compassion, you have wisdom, you have understanding. You are always a blessing to all. And even though life is not what you think impermanent, lead to suffering and empty. But there is such thing as life. There is such thing as existence. There is such thing as happiness, contentment, joy within life. That's why you can live life to the fullest. That's the reason why the Heart Sutta says, true emptiness is wonderful existence. When you realize the enlightenment of true emptiness, existence becomes wonderful, life becomes wonderful, meaningful, priceless. That's why for those enlightened beings, as far as they are concerned, the form and mind is the vehicle and tool for them to come to this world, and they can live the good life, the complete, beautiful life. And they can experience all of the pristine wonders and beauty of life. So all these are possible within reach if you develop the understanding of the Buddha Dharma. If you put it to cultivation, then you develop the ability to understand them and to awaken to them. Okay? Sadhu. So these three universal characteristics is very important. And you have to insight into phenomena to understand it. Otherwise, contemplative wisdom can give you some wisdom, but sometimes it's not penetrative enough unless you have cultivated before in the past. But when you can develop a silent mind and suddenly insight into phenomena, that nature will awaken to these three universal characteristics. All of a sudden you will understand. It's just like when I saw my teacher, one of them, she just moved her hand. She was explaining to another guy, Singaporean. He said, see, she moved her hand. Then she moved her hand. By the time she moved like that, then like that, my nature awakened to the three characteristics of nature. Straight away I understood what that thing is. Where I was in that silent mind, continuously aware throughout the day at that time. That's why the nature just awakened. Then I came to know. That's what Dhamma is all about. Before the hand movement, there was nothing in it. Then the hand moved means what? Because my mind was silent. Then I saw the arising of phenomena. Then when this one moved, I saw the cessation of that phenomena and the arising of another phenomena. Then when this one moved again, the phenomena die and arise another one. That's why everything is in the state of flux, dependent originating, condition arising, causal phenomena. They come and they go, they come and they go. They manifest, they arise and they cease. That's why truth is everywhere. Why can't you see? For those who see, they always see. Yeah. You need mindfulness. You need to have sati. You need to have that sensitivity. You need to have the ability to know that this form of mind is not real. Because the awareness, when you are able to realize that true mind is one with everything, there is nothing inside there. He know you, he know me. That is a realization. That's why your sati must be very stable. Until mind enters sati and everything ceases. Then you come to understand that there is nothing inside that. That's why that characteristic of Anatta become very clear. Very clear. And it's all tied up with the first universal characteristic, impermanent, anicca. That's why when you understand anicca, when you insight into it, it's like automatic. It will lead to the understanding of the next two characteristics of nature. At the most, you only need to reflect and contemplate, then you will understand it. But the first universal characteristic of impermanent is most important. Once that one is realized, understood, the other two is automatic. And the first universal characteristic is the easiest to see. Where everything is In that state of flux, activity and movement, nothing is still. Not until your mundane mind stops creating, then that true nature, which is stillness, will be realized. Then it manifests. Then when you realize that true mind, that true nature, your nature awakens. You will understand what this is. Then the three universal characteristics become very, very clear, very easy to understand. Okay? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.